All right. Whew. What's that? Um, Rehydrate. All right. Hey Google, pause the music.
Got it. Pausing office Wi-Fi.
All right. So, hi. What's up? Um, Today is February 13th, 2025. It is the day before my 44th birthday. And I'm about to be homeless. Oh my God. It's wild, honestly. The past couple years have just been wild. The all of it, the totality of it. And I know they say that it takes 2 to 5 years to recover from burnout. And I'm sure that every person in burnout ever is like, clearly there's a shortcut. Like, clearly I can do something or get a hack to be able to make it go faster. And apparently that's not a thing. Apparently. So it's kind of blowing my mind because I'm like, clearly that I've had to get to the bottom already, huh? Like how many times can a person be in this situation when they're doing the right things? Like how many? It's got to be a limit, right? So, I guess I'll start this off by saying my Cash App is here on the screen, and I will also put my Venmo into the description. Anything that you can give would be helpful. And also, it's my 44th birthday. Yeah. So, um, I don't I don't really know what to say, honestly. I feel like today I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make myself have a good day. I am getting dressed with intention. I am playing music intentionally. I'm burning my incense. I even did a little edge situation today. Um, this is why I be telling y'all I don't want you to get burnt out because it's like hell fighting back and finding yourself in the midst of so much and so many things. It is so incredibly difficult. I don't even know how to describe how difficult it is to it's like imagine, and I do not say this lightheartedly, but if you are someone who has been somewhere where there is a natural disaster that causes destruction, whether that is an earthquake, a hurricane, tornado, fires. I want you to think about the images of people sifting through the rubble to find pictures that they have left or um, different mementos or things like that. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. And at the same time, my brain people are rebuilding a new place, a new space. It's very peaceful there. There's grass and quiet. But we're still sifting. We're still sifting through the rubble, and it's a lot. I really didn't know what I was going to say when I sat down. I was like, I'm dressed and I have to be in front of the camera today, so I might as well record a video and reflect or try to find some excitement or something. I don't know. But it's a lot. It's a very, very heavy weight that I walk with of helping you all not get here. And I feel like if I scream loud enough and I show you the impacts and what this can look like and be as transparent as I possibly can, that you will hopefully put yourself in a position to not ever be in this position. And I'm grateful that I get to heal and recover here in Colombia. And it's not lost on me that many of you who are watching are in the US. I can't imagine how heavy it feels. I know the weight that I felt when I left. I know the weight that I was able to release. I know the weights that I continue to try to release. I can't imagine what it would be like for that additional weight to be on your shoulders. And I feel it so deeply. And I wish that I could do something to stop it because this isn't where you want to be. It's not. It's hard. And even as transparent as I am, many people still have this like glamorous conception or perception of what it looks like. And it's just so multifaceted. It really is. So yesterday I met with one of my friends and I was telling her, I was like, with everything going on with DEI and all of that, the the deletion of it, the hard pivots, the um divorcing from everything that the little pieces of progress that were being made, it has far rippling impacts, far reaching. And one of those impacts is those of us who worked in spaces where we do advocacy work and we do work for the social and emotional well-being of people. That work kind of evaporates and just doesn't exist anymore. It's like someone came in and was like, delete, and then gone. Yesterday, when I was talking to my friend, she was telling me that um, her husband is an administrator at a university, and he deals with the hospital portion of things. And so he's seeing it on the education side as well as the healthcare side of the grants that have been deleted, the care that is not getting to people, the research that has stopped, um, the resources that were available for people. All of that is just it's not happening. And while I am not surprised, and while in many ways I expected this, I also was in a position that I didn't have the ability to position myself to be cushioned from this. And I am at the mercy of many things that are still happening in the government, even though I don't live there anymore. And I understand even with that, I am very much so privileged because I can close my computer and pretend like none of it is happening. Even though there are impacts here in Colombia and prices are and going to continue to rise, and um, the president here is very much a president of the people and is very much not in agreement with anything that is happening in the US, but also somewhat dependent on the US, which is how the US likes it. So it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on. And I want to be able to stabilize myself so that I can help you all get stable. I want to be able to have a safe place for you to come to. I want y'all to be able to heal your spirits before you get to this point. I talked to someone yesterday, she's 27, and she said, I've already experienced burnout. I talked to someone else who's 28. I've already experienced burnout. We have we have to save ourselves, and I feel like I'm doing everything I can, but there's so much more that I could be doing if I could just get my feet together, as Tony Baker would say. So I have specific orders, I have specific things that I'm supposed to do. And one of those things is discover your destiny. And I don't know if this sounds like a commercial. I don't know. I don't know how you're receiving any of this, honestly. But one of the reasons why, or the reason why Discover Your Destiny is so important to me is because it is the roadmap that I used to get out of an abusive relationship. And while that abusive relationship was with a person, many of us are in an abusive relationship with the country. What I found in my journey is that the key to getting out of that abusive relationship was to understand who I was. And I thank God for my therapist who challenged me at that time to take some time to figure out who you are and what you want, because she kept asking me that for like 2 years. She was like, "What do you want? What do you want?" And I was like, "Girl, I don't know. Why do you keep asking me that?" Like, I don't know. Can you just tell me what I'm supposed to want and then I'll do that? But in that challenge, I decided to finally take it seriously, and I learned so much about how unique I am and how God had designed me. And that journey has only continued and deepened because I do believe it is a lifelong journey when we figure out who we are. And you know what? Even when I say figure out, when I said that, I felt myself kind of being like, it's not really that we're figuring it out per se. It is learning how to have this deep relationship with God, because a lot of the things you already know. God has already showed you and told you some specific things. There are people who come to you consistently, certain types of people. And let me give you a hint. Actually, this is how you're going to know. You are called to the people who are like you. You're called to the people who are like you. My audience consists of many people who struggled from burnout or struggling from burnout, people who desired to live abroad, people who worked in education, people who care about education. Those are the people that I'm supposed to help because those are the pathways that I've walked through in the spaces that I've been in. So there are people who are looking for people like you. And what often happens is, because one of my gifts is being able to see, right? So I have a prophetic gift, and that's called being a heart revealer. And many times when I'm talking to people, I say things to them that God is telling me to say about what they're supposed to do or who they are. And fear gets in the way because the world, whether wherever that exists, whether that be society, whether that be family, whether that be partners, friends, a lot of times too, the world will have you believing that something is wrong with you, as opposed to becoming curious to figure out what your story is and who you actually are outside of this perception that they might have. So I'll be talking to people and I'll say things to them and they're like, "Yeah, that ain't me." Like they be like, "That ain't me, sis." And it very much is you. And I wish that people could see themselves through the eyes of God. One of my friends told me, like, you impact you know, hundreds of thousands of people. Like, that's you. You do that. I only impact the people that are in my household. And I said to that, and that's an impact. And I think one of the things we have to realize is that we all have a role, and everybody's role isn't the same. So clearly, one of the roles that I am supposed to assume is the role of saying the things, making the things plain, calling it what it is, talking about how God shows up and God's demeanor and the journey that it takes to find the real and true God, and not the God that a capitalistic white supremacist society has told us is God. That's my role, right? Somebody else's role might be one of my friends that I just talked to. Her role is to help people understand how to be self sustainable, how to grow your own food, how to use herbs as medicine, how to heal yourself through the land and connect through the land and through nature. Somebody else's role could be, Imma make y'all's digital real estate. So Imma hook you up with your website and make sure that you have the capability to get this message out to people and that you have a digital presence. Someone else's role might be, um, Imma draw you in with humor because you know what? Joy is an act of resistance. So Imma make sure that you have something to laugh about because we deserve to be able to laugh. But the point is, all of us have a role, and we have to stop comparing ourselves to somebody else's role because your role is important. If your impact is the people that are in your home, then you take that seriously. You raise healthy children that don't have to recover from their childhood. You set an example for what it looks like to take accountability or to apologize. You create a safe haven in your home where your partner knows that when they come home that they are supported, that they are loved, and that they are cared for, and that you receive the same. That's a role, and that's important. So I want us to stop minimizing that and take that seriously. And all that I have to give is this opportunity for you to be able to take that role seriously. And I say all very sarcastically, but also very literally. It is my life's work. This, that, what I do, it is. So it is me giving my all. And also, it is transformational, it is life changing, it is door opening. And I know I started this off by saying things are so difficult and like I need help and all those things. Just because you know your purpose and just because you are operating in your purpose, it does not mean that it's going to be a rosy walk because we still live in this world. But what it does mean is that the work that I do aligns so closely with my purpose. It is my destiny that that work isn't breaking my brain. That work is actually what brings me joy. That work is actually what keeps me grounded. That work is actually what fills my tank because it is what I am supposed to be doing, as opposed to taking my gifts and using them for somebody else's benefit. And then they turn around and make sure that they do everything they can to destroy. And that's the situation that so many of us have been in. So, discover your destiny. It starts on March 3rd. That's orientation week, and that's when you'll meet everybody that's going to be a part of the cohort. And then every Monday, we'll meet virtually to walk through a journey. The journey starts with understanding your spiritual gifts, your uses and misuses of your spiritual gifts. Then we start thinking about how you want to impact the world and what types of goals do you need to set to make that happen. Then we talk about the obstacles that are standing in the way of you being able to make that happen. We have a conversation about boundaries and what that really means, and how do we establish healthy boundaries without building walls. And then we have a conversation about self-care. We have a conversation about self-care. And that module is so it's a living, breathing place because self-care, as I'm sure you all know, has been so commercialized. And that's not what it's about. Self care is about connecting back to nature. Self care is about making sure that you drank water and that you ate and that you're having enough sleep, that you have mental health specialists, that you've gone to the medical doctor, that the food that you're choosing to eat is food that is nourishing your body, that you are moving and stretching and breathing. Breathing. That's self-care, and it is something that we desperately need, especially in advocacy work and especially in the middle of this warfare that we are in. We have to keep ourselves in a state of being able to get regrounded. That also means expressing our emotions, because holding in our emotions and trying to pretend that things aren't happening is not beneficial. Because if it doesn't come out in one way, it's going to come out in another. And when I say feeling emotions, I also mean the good ones too, right? Um, One of my podcasts, the Soft Podcast with Brittany Elizabeth, we had Dr. Catherine on the other day, and Dr. Catherine was talking about how when we make space for emotions that are um, categorized as negative, we also make space for their positive counterpart. So if I can deeply feel sadness, I also make space to deeply feel joy. If I can deeply feel confusion, I also make space to deeply feel clarity. So it's a both and thing, and it's not either or. It really is just choosing to say, I'm going to allow myself to feel, because they benefit from us not feeling, from us operating as robots, from us disconnecting from ourselves. They benefit from that, because what you do is you stay in a state of survival. And when you're in survival, all you can do is just do what you are told to do because you don't want to rock the boat. When we think about or you fight, right? You fight, there's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and I think it's one more. But your body, it has to come out some kind of way. So we have to be intentional about taking time to allow ourselves to process those emotions so that we are able to experience the fullness of being a human being, because we are humans. We are. And we deserve to be able to have feelings. We deserve to be able to be fully human. So I don't know how I got there, but I know I'm passionate about it. So I'm not surprised that I wound up there. Um, but yeah, so tomorrow's my birthday. And I think I want to treat myself to some nature. And I don't know what happens from there. I want to give myself the gift of peace. So I will be conducting myself that way to make sure that peace is my portion, if you will. So happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope that your day is filled with love, that you feel connected to people. If you are unpartnered, I hope that you are able to give yourself the love that you deserve and surround yourself maybe with community that honors that and doesn't shame that. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you. Happy birthday to me. My Cash App is $Kimberland Jackson. My Venmo is Kimberland-Jackson. I appreciate anything that you're willing to do. All right. All right. That's all, y'all. I gotta walk over to the other computer to turn it off though. So one man, so one woman show over here, you know. So yeah. All right. Bye.